But I thought also Nick probably knew more about Dante than anybody. And I thought, who's going to criticize this guy? Dante would have to come down and criticize him if there were some flaws.
Hello, and welcome back to The Director's Cut, brought to you by the Directors Guild of America. In this episode, the parallel storylines of a modern-day crime drama and a 14th century period piece are intertwined in director Julian Schnabel's feature, In the Hand of Dante. Based on the 2002 novel by Nick Tosches, the film tells the story of a 21st century scholar on the run after stealing a rumored original manuscript of the Divine Comedy from a mafia don. Meanwhile, in the 14th century, Dante Alighieri himself navigates political exile and undergoes a spiritual awakening while trying to write his masterpiece. In addition to In the Hand of Dante, Schnabel's other directorial credits include the feature films At Eternity's Gate, Mural, Before Night Falls, and Basquiat, and the documentary feature Lou Reed, Berlin. He was nominated for the DGA Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures for his 2008 feature, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Following a screening of the film at the DGA Theater in New York, Schnabel spoke with director Benny Safdie about filming In the Hand of Dante. Listen on for their spoiler-filled conversation.
Wow. I wrote some things down just because I don't want to get lost here.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
But yeah, I'm thank you for. I'm so happy to do this with you. I love this movie just because it marries together so many different genres, feelings, styles, and it just kind of feels completely representative of all the things that you love and find beautiful in the world and in people. And then on top of that, you got all the actors to just be so in it and believe in it all. And Gerard is incredible. Oscar's amazing. And Pacino and Jason, everybody in this, I think is so fantastic, but they're also so on the same frequency, you know? I don't know if you want to talk about that. But I just also want to know what the idea, just specifically with Pacino in that first scene with the young kid. I feel like it sets up a lot of stuff within the movie, specifically about gangsters. So, like, it's such a unique thing because he's giving advice with such power and silence.
Yeah, and said things between you, me, and God. You can't tell nobody about those things. It's interesting in a way. Well, you asked me two questions, but I'll do one at a time. There's a guy that I know. He's called Richard Boiardo. He's a stem cell doctor. His real name is Ruggero Boiardo. And his grandfather was Richie the Boot Boiardo, who was the underboss to Frank Costello. And so when Vito Genovese went to New Jersey in 1957 to have a talk with him before Albert Anastasia was killed, there were a bunch of guys with machine guns on the roofs, and this kid, this was his grandfather. And when he saw the film, he said, "How would you know that?
Wow.
How would you know that?" He thought that that scene was more real than The Godfather. Which, I mean, basically Nick wrote this stuff. But I thought also Nick probably knew more about Dante than anybody. And I thought, who's going to criticize this guy?
Yeah.
Dante would have to come down and criticize him if there were some flaws.
Yeah.
In fact, in reverse, the reason why he took the job to go and find the manuscript was because it was his.
Yeah.
And he had to check to see if somebody messed with it. And so it was crazy to do that. I mean, I think Al was amazing. And one thing that I wanted to show is, I mean, it's kind of peculiar, or you wonder, is it believable for some guy that's a writer to just pull a gun out of his pocket and shoot 3 gangsters? I mean, I figured you got to show that he's done it before.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And in the book, it starts, the first line of the book is, Louis threw his bra on the casket. Okay, well, obviously Louis is going to be an important character, but the thing is that I wanted to show that Nick had done it before.
Yeah.
And so that's why I put that at the beginning. And actually, Nick Tosches was alive at one moment. He actually read the script and he loved that. He understood why I did that.
Yeah.
And I guess Nick couldn't really say that he was the reincarnation of Dante Alighieri, but I could.
You could, of course.
And that's one of the things that you can do in cinema or in literature and whatever. I mean, you're free to make up whatever you want.
Yeah.
And another thing was, Giulietta in the book is a girl that he falls in love with in Milan. But there's a story there, but she's not Gemma.
Yeah.
And I thought, has anybody ever seen the movie Random Harvest with Greer Garson and Ronald Colman? Well, basically, this guy's in a mental hospital with post-traumatic stress, World War I, and he's waiting for somebody to identify him because he's got amnesia.
Yeah.
And he walks out of the hospital because it's the day that the war is over, and he walks into this bar, and Greer Garson is singing in the bar, and she sees this puppy-eyed, beautiful guy who's lost.
Yeah.
And she takes him under her wing. They go to this little village. They get married. They have a baby. And he writes an article for the Liverpool Times. He goes to get the job, and he gets hit by a car. And the next thing you see, he's running a manor house outside of London. And he presses the intercom in his office, and his wife comes in. He doesn't know who she is.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, okay, Giulietta knows who Nick is. He doesn't know who he is. But I think, how do you get somebody to believe who you've never seen to be your confidant? Well, if your girl Friday, your best friend who takes care of your business, has preeclampsia, is in the hospital being pregnant, and somebody's on the phone saying, hello, I'm taking over. And then you see the actress in the 14th century, and then later when he shows up in Ravenna, there's something, I don't know, there's something familiar about this place. I thought that that was another thing that I thought I could do with this material.
And there's a lot of doubling. You know, that's what I think. I love Gerard has, I don't know if this was intentional, but Gerard is, of course it was, him as the gangster and then him as the Pope. So,
well, I think the Pope probably killed a lot more people.
yeah, definitely.
But you were asking something about the way that all of these actors seem to be. You know, it's funny, we did a Q&A the other day with Paul Dano. Interesting to have an actor talk to actors.
Yeah.
Also, just because he started to say, well, how do you, the camera, he said, well, you know, the camera was moving in such a way, and how do you do that? And Oscar said, well, you know, Julian said to the DP, hey, you know, it looks much better every time you take the camera and you put it on the floor. So stop looking at in the eyepiece and just shoot it without thinking about it. Allen Ginsberg said, first thought, best thought. And before thought's even better than that. And so I kind of see everything as one shot.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at the rectangle for a long time, not as a movie director, but just as a painter. And we don't rehearse. There's no placement, you know, where this is your spot, that's your spot.
Open, free.
Yeah.
And so the actors have the opportunity. I mean, if I've selected them to be in the movie, it's because I really believe that they can do this.
And they feel that, I imagine. They know that.
I know that they can do this. They might not know what they're going to do, but I know that if I put them in a situation, they're going to surprise me and do something much better than anything I ever wrote.
Yeah.
And so, and what happens is if it's funny because if you think of the diving bell, Jean Doe never talked to any of the actresses. We never had a meeting where the actor talks to the other actresses because they never speak to each other in the movie. And a lot of that stuff he's doing in a sound box, just saying whatever the hell comes to his mind when he's watching these women that are his nurses or whatever. So my way of doing it is to get people in a situation and then let them bring what's inside of them into that without interfering. And if they're really, really prepared, it's amazing what will come out of them. And if they're really talented the way, Oscar, for example, in the beginning of the movie, when Oscar's talking about William Faulkner, in the book, there's stuff and there's a key to what he's saying that I feel like I wrote this. But before that, he's talking about Faulkner. And you think, okay, well, is that really necessary? Yeah, it is necessary. Like Jason says, absolutely, it's necessary when he's going to torture Oscar. Anyway, he starts to, because he's getting ready. Yeah. So he's getting ready with what happens before he's supposed to say his lines about William Faulkner. And I mean, when he says, I get thrown off horses, I get drunk, I get a lot of stuff, but I don't get edited. I'd rather see the stable boy my wife than get edited. I thought, well, okay, we just shot the rehearsal. And so we do, a lot of that. I mean, for example, when Claudio Santamaria is the archivist, there was a moment where we were going to show how people did the filigree in the 14th century. Yeah. Women doing this, making this paper. And then I thought, well, I don't know if we want to do that. I went to all these libraries where Nick obviously went to retrace this.
But even showing even showing him getting the paper, because again, when you see the manuscript in the movie, it has such a weight to it that you really believe that's it. And as you're talking about that, when he gets the paper, I didn't I'm like, oh yeah, the fact that you put so much emphasis on this paper that he gets. You put that in. You were thinking about all that. Yeah.
Well, you got to make it believable. If it doesn't look real, you got to give up. And and that machine that's supposed to be in Arizona is in Padua. I don't know what that machine does, but if we're going to say it's a carbon, okay, fine, that's what it. And it's amazing how people, and they were real scientists actually that were in the scene. That's amazing. But it's amazing how, so I thought, okay, I went to one library, and when I was telling this lady that it's about stealing this manuscript, she thought I wanted to steal something. And she got very, very upset. She didn't understand that we were talking about stealing. We weren't. I felt like Albert Finney. I'm admiring your horse. I'm not stealing your horse. So I found this lady in Fabriano who ran it, who was amazing. And I said, why don't you I said to Claudia, call her on the phone and ask her about this paper. Yeah. So basically, he talked to her on the telephone, and through that telephone conversation, he basically acted like her. Yeah. And it was amazing how he was just, I didn't need to do anything else. And so I think all of the actors, they kind of came with trust and some kind of, when Sabrina Impacciatore shows up, the one who is the librarian.
Who's amazing.
I think the other actors thought, she's out of her mind. This person's crazy. But she understood what it would be like to be in love with the work of art, to be so engaged in that thing that
there is something slightly insane to her, in that, which is so great.
And even when she first looks at the stuff that Nick gives her at her desk, she's you're an actor, and you know it's not easy to do that. Either can channel that or you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing I like about making movies, if I'm a painter and I say to somebody, yeah, that was really great, it really doesn't matter if I like it or I don't. But if I'm the director, I can actually ask them to do something that I can't do.
Yeah.
And I thought, I mean, have you ever seen Gerard Butler do that?
Oh my God. That's the thing that's so his whole character, but also all of the people, the action, all of that stuff is so, I love the pacing of it. Like the fact that when he gets him in the elevator, he still has to wait for the doors to close. There's such a realistic pacing to how all that happens that it just fits in so well with the rest of the movie. But it's like you believe that they are doing this and that this quest is happening.
Well, somebody actually asked me if it was a biography. The other night, I said, "No, it's a novel." You know, I mean, he imagined, he imagined these things, and he didn't have a daughter either.
Okay.
And the daughter actually is Galen Hopper, who is Dennis Hopper's daughter. And when I saw Ex Machina, and I heard Oscar's voice, I thought Oscar sounded like Dennis sometimes.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And so when they did that scene on the bench,
man, that's crazy.
And also, one of the reasons why I was attracted to this is I thought that Nick could write in the most gruesome, vulgar, brutal, scary, sadistic kind of way. And at the same time, he could talk about this guy's daughter saying that she would have a breath of purity that I would never know. And just the contrast of that, and also the 14th century speaking like that. And one of the reasons why there's subtitles on when people are talking in the 14th century, you kind of don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I thought it's better if you can, particularly, and when Marty's talking, what Marty once said to me, do you think they understood what I said, Marty, you took your teeth out in order to do this role. Yeah. And now you're worried if they don't understand the word you're saying. It was amazing to work with him because he really wanted to do this. And at the end of that, when we were working, he said it was one of the most beautiful things that ever happened to him.
He's so transformed.
I mean, I just felt like crying when that happened.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
When he says to Oscar, after Oscar recites Paradise, he says, "You've lifted the veil on the inexpressible. You've entered the sigh. You've become the poem." I mean, isn't that what all artists try to do, whether you're a director or an actor or a singer or a poet? I mean, you become... You become your art. I mean, we're not going to be here forever. I mean, you're transgressing death in some way. And I think that obviously the movie is about that.
Yeah. And I love it's such a simple thing. The color for the past and the black and white for the present is just also as a way to keep track of the time, but then also to just say that, like, because sometimes the past looked more real than, like, more present than now.
Well, you know, Giotto painted the Cappello dei Scrivini in color.
That's right.
and you know, if you think of Tom Waits' song "When All the World Was Green," I mean, we're kind of living in purgatory right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we might not personally, we might have a good life, but what's surrounding us and what we're, you know, the level of apathy that we are surrounded by at this moment is like purgatory. And these people groveling around because this thing is worth money. Mm-hmm. And if we think of what Marty says when he says, Pharaoh took the firstborn of the Jews, but this new God of mass commerce will take all of the children, and there won't be someone from the bulrushes that's going to come and lead them back to God. And I think if we look around, that's where we're at. Yeah. And so I don't know. I just felt like this movie for me was an opportunity to address all sorts of stuff that And at the same time, I like the idea that Nick didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And we find out who we are through what we do.
And he has to go on. He has to go on that path.
And the other thing is that people think you can make a really great work of art, but that doesn't mean your life isn't flawed. And so it makes me think of a line out of the Diving Bell and the Butterfly when he says, "My life was a string of near misses. All of the women that I failed to love, all the chances. I was somebody who knew the winner of the race beforehand but failed to bet on it."
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that when Nick says it's flawed because he was flawed, and then obviously Lefty says, "Yeah, I know what you mean," but he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But I love when Lefty says, "Who's Dante?" And I had to put the beginning in because some people don't know who Dante is. So I thought we need to say who Dante was and who Nick was.
Yeah.
But I try not to pander to the audience and let them have the experience of what the film is.
As you were talking about being a painter, I was thinking when I went to your show recently with those beautiful.
I actually have a show up now.
It's
at the Pace Gallery at 25th Street between 10th and 11th of umbrella pine trees.
It's so beautiful.
That I made while I was driving myself crazy because I didn't know if the film was going to be in the Venice Film Festival or not, because I actually turned down being in competition a year before because people wanted me to change the movie. And I didn't want to do it. And there was it was difficult. So a year later, Alberto Barbera figured a way to, okay, I'll give you the Glory to the Filmmaker Award from Cartier. You won't be in competition, but we can shine a light on the film. But while I was waiting to see if that was even possible, instead of blowing my brains out, I was making paintings of these umbrella pine trees and Sidonia that turned into these paintings that are in the show. So lucky I have a day job.
But they're so beautiful. But when you get up close, you see all these different. It's 3-dimensional. There's all these different plates, fragments, things, colors, and then when you pull back, it's this beautiful kind of portrait that is so clear. And when I look at the movie, it feels very similar in a way, and how you're looking at the world and going in this way and getting inside of it and then pulling back and making all these other connections at the same time. I don't know if you see.
No, it's lovely to talk to you. I mean, I have a deep affection for this guy.
It's mutual.
But when I had a show not long ago at Bob Minuchin's gallery, he's dead now, he said to me, if I could just show your plate paintings before I die, I go out as a happy guy. And I had the show. It was at the end of last year, and he died 2 weeks before it was over. He was 92. And when I walked in, I saw the show, I looked at so I was doing a Q&A because I've been doing this to make sure that the movie got seen. And Alfred McAdam, who was a scholar of Latin American literature, I met him when I made the movie Before Night Falls. He knew Cabrera Infante. Anyway, I didn't know what to say when I came up to the stage. And he said, well, I know what I want to say. I said, what? And he said, well, I was standing behind you when you were looking at the first plate painting, and you said to yourself, what the f*** was I thinking when I did this? And I'd like to know, what the f*** were you thinking when you did this? And that's how he started, how do you do it? Is it discipline or, what do you do? But I think what I try to do, or I don't try to do it, I mean, I don't know how to do it another way, but I think the people that work with me feel freedom. They can express themselves. They're not stuck in a box somewhere. And I know that they can they've got something to give. If it's just so if we jump in the hole and we can crawl out at the end of the day, we had a good day.
Yeah.
And I think everybody did an extraordinary job.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Gal Gadot was like Ingrid Bergman. I mean, when she's quiet. I mean, I've never seen a movie that she made, like Wonder Woman or any of those things. I just talked to her on the telephone for a while, FaceTime with her, and I thought, okay, she's the right person to do this. And she's so loving towards Oscar.
Yeah, you feel it.
She's so welcoming to him. And because obviously, I mean, they get in bed right away. I mean, why is that? Well, because she was married to him 700 years ago. So
the locations in this movie are unbelievable. What is that? Where Dante's climbing up the steps? But it's also, again, it's very clear that you went to these places.
We shot in Bracciano, where actually Marty got married with Isabella Rossellini, and that's the stable that's on top of in Venice. Shot in Venice in the casino and found this fort at San Andrea, which nobody knows where that is, because it's very hard to find a place to throw somebody off a cliff in Venice. But at that fort, you could do it. Years ago, I broke my ankle when I was making Before Night Falls. And Dennis Hopper was with me, and I was going to say, he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to the set. He said, well, you're going to the hospital. Came out with the cast on my leg, and they were wheeling me around on a hand truck. I thought, wow, that's a good doll, And so...
Oh, that's what that was.
So I thought, okay, first he's supposed to be in a van being taken. And it's hard to get a van to drive around in Venice unless you're in the kind of industrial neighborhood. So I'm thinking, okay, we found this place. I found this crummy room inside this fort that was abandoned. And I thought, I have a son who's 12 and I have a daughter who's 4. Well, I've taken them with me where I've got their baby carriage, or what do you push them around on? Stroller. Well, if you go from a tender to a boat, for a moment there's that space where if some idiot drops your kid, they're not coming up. So I thought, okay, that's pretty scary. Why don't we just tie him to the hand truck and bring him to the edge of the cliff?
It's so scary.
Because all he has to do is give him a little nudge, and that's it.
Yeah.
Jason, who's such a large person, he could have pistol whipped Nick or done something but he came to set with this little manicuring,
the
little pink leather manicuring kit. And, for him to open that up and do that to his nails, I mean, that's a contribution.
Yes.
And, when anybody has a good idea,
you got it. Yeah.
It's a mitzvah.
It's amazing. No, I didn't know that. So he brought that. That's incredible.
And also,
and the scissors are so small in his hands.
And the way he's taped to the thing is so good, and he's cutting them with that little scissors. Yeah. And Franco Nero's in the movie, and he said, it's a little cameo. He said, but Marlon Brando said to me, either be the star of the movie or do a cameo. Don't take a secondary part. So he did it. I mean, I knew Vanessa from when we made Miral, and he was great. And also to work with Paolo Bonicelli, who was in Pasolini's films.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
And he died actually last year. But when the people to do the electronic press kit came, they want to talk to all the people that they might know who they are. Yeah. I said, why don't you talk to that guy? I talked to him. And obviously, once they talked to him, he worked with Harold Pinter. He's talking about Pasolini. And he says, this is the first movie I'm making with Julian, but we're going to do a lot more.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, he was 89 years old, or 86. But it was great to have him do it. And walking down those stairs, and he didn't want a double to do that. He wanted to do it. But it was incredible. I think that the casting of the little boy who turns into him, and Lorenzo Sorzolo, who's a wonderful actor, who plays the young Don Lecco.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they were good matches for when you get older. This one would turn into that guy, and Dora was great, the one who brings out the tea, and then he says, thanks, and he shoots her in the stomach.
He's so nonchalant about it, but I guess that is And I also love when they're when they're in the same room. There's
people wanted me to cut that out of the movie where he said, "Who's going to take care of me?" Well, I mean, come on. They have a deep relationship.
Yeah, they do.
And one of my favorite moments is when he says, "Anybody that knowingly has contact with a dog shit broad is definitely sick." A guy that fucks a stiff ain't nothing compared to a guy that holds hands with a dog shit broad. And you think, wow, this guy is really human.
Yeah, and Gerard brings. I've never seen him like that. It was unbelievable.
I hope he shows up because I think he can get a nomination for.
He's so good.
For a supporting actor because he didn't want to wear that bra, but I said, come on, it's okay. Louis would do it.
That's amazing. And then I guess for the final question, what was the hardest thing about making this movie?
The hardest thing was dealing with people that don't do it for the same reason that you're doing it. Mm-hmm. The actors were not a problem.
Yeah.
But people have different goals. Maybe they read the script and they see all these movie stars and they think, I'm going to make a Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. Did they read the script?
Yeah.
I made the movie that I intended to make, and I think the hardest thing was to keep it intact. Mm-hmm. And there's some battles that you don't need to fight.
Yeah.
But the notion for me as a painter also, nobody ever tried to take my work away before. And that was devastating to me. Mm-hmm. They didn't know that they were trying to do that, but obviously there's a difference between art and commerce.
Yeah.
And thank goodness Ted Sarandos loved the film and said to the people that work for him, we're taking this film.
It's amazing.
I mean, that's a big deal because now somehow we could talk about this and it's something.
They can see it as you intended.
And it is, and he's seen the movie before in a couple of different stages. But it's exactly how I want it to be. I had final cut, and it'll be seen in theaters, maybe not enough theaters, but there'll also be, 23 million eyeballs that will see it too. But I like people to see it in movies. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And it was a pleasure to see it here.
It's such a great screening. And thank you for coming and talking to me about it and talking to everybody here.
Well, it's wonderful when you can see, why do you do it? Why do you make a movie or why do you make anything? It's a note that gets passed on from, there's a line in Basquiat where Gary Oldman says to Jeffrey Wright, your audience hasn't been born yet. Mm-hmm. And Willem says that to Mads Mikkelsen, maybe I was born at the wrong time. Yeah. And I think that obviously Dante's audience, he had an audience, but he certainly didn't have the audience that he has now. Yeah. And Nick's audience hasn't been born yet. And so, how old are you now?
I'm 40.
Okay, I'm 74. So you weren't born yet when I was doing some of those things. And it's great because we get to talk now. And it's and then, Jeremy Thomas has a company called the Recorded Picture Company. Mm-hmm. So it's recorded.
Yeah.
And I hope this is all recorded too. I'm sure they did that.
Yes, I think
anyway, it's really great to be here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And thank you, Julian, for such a great movie.
Thanks for listening to another DGA Q&A. The Director's Cut is available wherever you listen to podcasts. And please share, subscribe, rate, and review. We'd love to hear your feedback, and you can help fellow film buffs find the show. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time. This podcast is produced by the Directors Guild of America.